Good evening. You have tuned in to Ties That Bind, and I am Paula, your host, and being joined by my co-hosts, James and Tiffany. And tonight we're going to be talking about health, bringing our health back into our community. And when I say community, that's anybody who's listening. And so I'm going to turn it over to James and Tiffany because we're going to get right into the subject because we got a lot of stuff we got to talk about. So I'm going to turn it over to James or to Tiffany.
Me first? Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, family. Good evening or good morning, noon, and night, depending on what time you're listening to us.
Yes.
My name is Tiffany, and I'm known as the strategist, and I am here to help bring building blocks to us as a family so we can build our family up as our single unit and also out to the community at large. James?
Yes, I do.
Hello, everybody. I'm James, and I'm known as the Bridge. And basically what I want to do is kind of bridge the gap between everybody when it comes to different subjects from where we are now to where we want to be and how we can kind of meet in the middle and move forward with what we need to do. So I got tongue-tied.
Amen. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So, as I said, today we're continuing with a subject that we started. I think we started it last year. Wasn't it like October last year, Tiffany? And
I believe so.
Yeah. And so what we were talking about was the healing in our community, where there is from one spectrum to the other. So in that tonight we're going to be talking about I want to say obesity, or it's not just obesity. I want to talk about the state of our body and the foods and things that we have to talk about. So I went online and got some statistics, and this is stuff that I have been. We talk about this all the time, so I'm talking about it all the time, especially this subject. So sometimes that you all will have to ask questions because I may go over. I may say something that I did not qualify or that I didn't make sure that the listener actually got it. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so my goal is I have been watching, and they hate because I watch it, but it's very interesting to me. I have been watching this show, and it's called My 600-Pound Life. And it's been going on for a few years. I went to start looking at the when they started recording this, and it was like in 2000, I think it was 2011 was the latest date that I saw, and it was like no repeat.
Close to 10 years. Huh? I said it's been close to 10 years.
Yeah, mm-hmm. and there were no repeats, and then from one point it started. There was My 600-Pound Life, and they were like they had started getting from 598 to 575, and then all of a sudden I started getting into the documentaries where they were like 800 and 900 pounds. The last person I saw, he was 900 and some odd pounds. I'm just like, oh my God! And so mm-hmm. this is why, and I talk about it because I have been studying about. I have MS, and I don't know whether I have said this to you all or not. I know you and James know about this, Tiffany, but to the audience, I have MS. Now, and when I was diagnosed with MS, it was from years I found out that the doctors had misdiagnosed me. But I had never, I'd say about 5 years, but I had never in my life, I had never been sick. I haven't had measles, I haven't had mumps, I haven't had chicken pox, I barely got a cold, stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, I have MS. And so with MS, it was, first I was in total denial. I was just like, no, they're saying I had that, but blah, 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 until I started doing my research. But with that, because you don't move as often, because I had started exercising, and I would get up in the morning, and I would exercise before I went to work for 45 minutes. And then at lunchtime, I would go and do another 45 minutes. I would get off from work, and I would walk from my my place to the gym and then walk again for like 5 miles, and then I would get back and do Taekwondo again. But at a certain point, because I am a calorie counter, and I'm trying to explain to you how I got to this, because something's not right. I'm a calorie counter, so I can tell you when I go to start eating something, I can measure out a teaspoon, and I can say that's going to be 50 calories. I can tell you how much a can of pop is going to be. It's going to be 120 to 200 and something. It's going to be this, that, and the other. But I think that, and I have been, and I am a, how do you call it? I don't want to me, because I've heard fat for so long, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, or fat is just the word. I am a foodie. I am forever a fat girl, and because I love food, and so with the love, I love certain types of food. But then I started looking. I'm just like, how in the world can your skin stretch to that point? I was just like, how did they get there? So I kept watching it, and then at a certain point, you saw their minds weren't there, and then they were eating this certain types of food all the time. A lot of it was fried foods, and I'm going to tell you about the fried foods, but we're going to talk about this. A lot of it was fried food. Some of it was processed. A lot, I think 98% of what they were eating was processed food.
Mhm.
And I was just like, okay.
And I think the processed food is more dangerous than the fried food.
Yes. And see, there's a different way that you can cook stuff, and you don't have to do this all the time. And then they're eating, but they were like eating it every day, and they were eating stuff that, I mean, they were eating cakes and bread, and now we look at the bread, and the bread is, and really we started studying about what the bread had in it when I was in college. That it was really basically, it had, what do you call that stuff? Antifreeze. The chemicals that were in there, when you break it all down, it was antifreeze and all that stuff, because it's poisoning us. And so a lot of this, it's not because we're basically, fat has been around. Being overweight has been around for forever, and overweight is subjective of who it was. I remember I was reading something in the Bible about Deborah. She was, I think she was a queen or something in there, but they had gone to kill somebody, and they took a sword that was really, really long, and he made sure that he made it very, very long. And when he got there to kill the guy, because they, anybody that you were sinning as you had to kill him, and he went to stab him. And he stabbed him to kill him, and they didn't say stab. He stuck the sword in to the point of the handle, and he couldn't get it back out. And he was just like, oh, my God. And no one talked about that. And so sometimes we see things, and we have to, I say, what I had to start doing, because I have been overweight. I started out as a little girl, and all the way through elementary school, I was just a normal-sized child. And I don't know whether it was through the stress and what was going on and the food that I was eating. And all of a sudden, I think the highest that I got, I remember the last time my dad took me to the doctor, I asked him, and I said, I want to lose weight because, people make fun of you, then you want to wear certain things and you can't find it. And the doctor put me on the scale, and I was at 298. But then when you get to the point where you're 500 and something pounds, and you think, oh, I haven't weighed 500 pounds in a long time, and I'm just like, oh my God, what is going on? And so that is why I started doing the testing, doing the research to find out. And we are, not only is America, we rank number 12, I think. And I'll put this stuff on the line. I know I keep telling you guys this, but I made sure I downloaded it, and I'll tell you where I got it from, and I'll give you all the stats. But it's these things, you're you're getting larger and larger. I don't know whether it's because we're so busy that we don't pay attention to ourselves. I don't know whether it's. I know the majority of it is this food, because we're eating empty calories. And so the last one I said, and I'm gonna give you all a chance to talk about this. I heard Dr. Now, we call him Dr. Now because his name is so long. The doctor that gives them the surgery because they can't stop eating because they're addicted. Like people are addicted to cigarettes and addicted to opioids, and I mean they're literally addicted. And he said, "You are the man weighed." This is the last one I just saw this Friday. He weighed 898 pounds, and he says, "You're at the point of dying." He said, "But we're gonna have to get you in the hospital." He said, "I just came back with all the tests that you ran on you." He said, "You're anemic." He said, "These calories, you're basically eating empty calories," and so that's where I want to start at with the what we're eating today that is killing us. So I'm going to turn it over to you all so you all can have something to say because I'll be talking.
Yeah, so I agree that obesity is definitely a huge problem. And for my part, I've been the past couple of years, following the keto way of eating. And I don't like to call it a diet because it really isn't a diet. It's just changing the way that you look at food.
Yes.
I tend to eat more higher fats, kind of moderate proteins, and very, very low levels of carbohydrates. Because really what it is that makes people fat is sugar. I mean, calories are calories. And you can't just eat thousands of calories a day. But if you cut out your sugar and eat moderate, cut out your carbs and eat moderate, amounts of food, you won't weight becomes a non-issue.
Right.
But I've seen that show that you're talking about. It is amazing how people can get that way, but they don't get that way by themselves. It's kind of a community of people that kind of help enable them to get to that point. Because at a certain point, someone's bringing you food. You can't get to the kitchen if you can't get out of bed.
Because they're bedridden. I mean, to the point where somebody has to literally take them, and then they still won't stop eating. And at that point, it's a mental thing. I'm sorry, James. I sound like you're trying to say something. I'm going to stop.
No. I was about to say exactly what you just said. At some point, it becomes a mental thing as well as an addiction as far as you believing that this is what you need. And then, of course, people go through different stages, whether it's depression or whatever, and they feel they need food to satisfy that feeling that they have of being depressed or, like I said, whatever the issue may be.
Right.
So yeah, I think it is a very serious subject, and watching what you eat or dieting, which is the same thing as just watching what you eat, is important, and knowing what's in the food is even more important.
Right. And you have to, and I think we have gotten so comfortable with fast food. Everything has got to be fast. You got to get the food fast. You got to get on the internet. I remember I was sitting there on the internet and just like, and it really was fast, but at that point I needed it to go faster. And then I had to stop, and I was just like, oh, my God, okay, chill out. It's not that serious. You can pick up the phone and you can call. But at a certain point, we have to stop and just breathe and just figure out where we are. And I'm where I'm coming from because Tiffany and James have never been overweight. I have been overweight. And at a certain point, people...
I don't know. I have been overweight at one time. That's when I started eating keto because I had gained. I had gotten over 200 pounds.
Because you were pregnant with...
No, Paula, not when I was pregnant.
Well, okay,
no, this is before I got pregnant. Actually, I spent about a year while we were trying to get pregnant. Because so just to backtrack a little bit, we had our babies through IVF. So one of the things that I was doing I was on hormones and stuff for over a year, and I started getting bigger and bigger and bigger because of the hormones. And of course, I was eating whatever I wanted to eat. When it was all said and done, I got up to almost 220 pounds, and I'm 5'9", almost 5'10". So, that was a lot of weight to be carrying around for me. So
Right.
one of my holistic goals when we were trying to get pregnant was to, I set holistic goals for myself. I said, do more self-care. So I was getting acupuncture, I was getting massages. Also, I increased my water intake to like a gallon or more a day. And then I decided I wanted to get my weight back within a healthy range. So
Right.
I ended up I started keto on Thanksgiving. I think it was 2016. And then by the end of January, I had lost like 25 pounds. And then
Oh, wow.
when it was all said and done, when I got comfortable to where I was, I think I had lost like 43 pounds. And I could have lost more, but I was happy with where I was at, and I didn't want to lose any more weight. And then that's when we ended up getting pregnant. I think I got down to like 176. And that was good for me.
Tiffany. Oh, I'm sorry, James. Go ahead.
No.
There's no argument. I mean, that's what happened.
Yeah.
No, but I don't see you at no 170 or anything.
Well, that's your opinion, but that's not what the scale says. I'm like 186 now.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Go ahead, James. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm gonna say what I got to say in a minute.
No, I mean, there's several reasons why you can start to gain weight or become fat or obese. For me, again, when it comes back to the food, I think that we have gotten so far away from food being natural, and not just natural. I mean, natural food, of course.
Yes.
We got so far away from food being natural. I think we're used to, and I think this goes for just about everybody, even though not everybody is obese, but everybody is used to like a lot of sugar in their food.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just about everything that we eat contains some type of sugar in it.
Right.
It's very hard to get away from food with sugar in it. And so what I'm trying to say is basically our taste buds have been overexcited with processed foods and foods that are not natural for so long that when we taste something like lettuce, for a lot of people, lettuce is disgusting. All right?
Yeah.
Or any type of other natural food is disgusting because your taste buds are used to a certain thing.
And I agree with that.
And
go ahead.
I can't cite the study. This is just off the top of from my memory. When I was researching keto, sugar is actually as addictive, if not more addictive, than heroin.
Oh, yeah.
Because what it does to your body, it causes your synapses to fire. That chemical reaction is more intense and more addictive, like I said, than heroin. So people are very much addicted. And if you look at the obesity rates and when they started to increase, it coincides with the American use of high fructose corn syrup. Whenever they started introducing that sugar into the diet, and it's in everything. I mean, it is in everything. Even ranch dressing is full of sugar. I mean, even when you find something that says low fat, it's low fat. They take the fat out and then they put more sugar in to make it taste good. And what you don't realize is fat is actually healthy for you. Fat is actually more healthy for you than sugar.
Exactly.
And your body can fuel itself on fat more efficiently than it can on carbohydrates. They don't tell you that because there's more money in sugar.
Yes.
Because it's a cash crop. But if you look at the studies, you can see that the correlation of American obesity began with the introduction of sugar into the diet.
I believe that because when I was doing the study, do you know that they say that 66% of all adults in America are overweight or obese? And I thought, wow, and I was thinking about that because my thing was when I started, when I started getting the medicine, and I'm not telling anybody to stop their medicine. I'm telling you to be conscious of what you're putting in your body. The doctors were giving me stuff, and I would ask questions, and they would get frustrated with me because I asked the question, and I'm just like, but dude, I'm paying you. You should know. That's what you get paid the big bucks for. But then I'm just like, no, I can't wait for them to do that. I'm going to have to do it myself because they weren't telling me anything. And I was in pain. I mean, and this is something I never told anybody for a long, long time. A lot of stuff I keep to myself because I feel like from a child, I would go to my room and close the door. You know, if I was sick, I would sit there and I would use my mind to make myself better, and instead of taking medicine. But I started, and I was just like, something's not right. And they started giving me, because with MS, you take a lot of steroids. You're taking pain medicine. So I stopped. So a lot of that stuff I stopped. And I was just like, for a long time, I was just like, oh, my God, I'm in pain. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And something just told me, just drink your water. And then all of a sudden, I was just like, then they were just like, you know, you have your vitamins, you're missing your vitamin D, you're missing this. And I'm just like, for real? I was like, really? And then I started doing I literally, it took me months, years to find this survey that told you what each medicine that you take, even over-the-counter medicine, takes, as far as vitamins, takes away from your body. And I was just like, oh, my God. So I started doing every medicine that they had given me. It was taking away the vitamin D, and then they were giving me synthetic vitamin D, and they were giving me, I was just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And I just started literally praying and then writing stuff down and making sure that I was doing what I had to do. And then I started looking, and even when I was looking at that show, My 600-Pound Life, the doctors they go and take your stomach out. But guess what? If you don't control yourself, so what is the point? If you've got to control yourself, what is the point of them cutting into your body and taking out your stomach? And I'm just like, what are they doing with the extra skin? What are they doing with that stomach? Guess what? They sell it to somebody else. And so everything is about money. It's about money. And I don't want to get into that. I'm going off the rails. They'll tell me I'm going off the rails. I can hear them breathing, Tiffany breathing, because Tiffany is about keeping things A, B, and C. And see, I'll go from A to Z, then get back to P, and then go to B, and it don't work like that with me. So I am, because Tiffany's a strategizer, James is the bridge. I am the storyteller. I am a talker. So, but these are things that I had to start doing for myself. And I was talking to James, because I was talking to an older man when I was there, and he was telling me it's not what you think it is. What you need to do, he was giving me, it was all natural. And at first I thought, oh, he's just saying that. At first I wasn't going to try it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to try it. I'm going to say something just kept telling me, try it. So I went and bought, everything was organic. I went and bought all the stuff, and I started rubbing it. I have started feeling, I had in my body with MS, it kills your nerve endings. But they say you can't.
Hello? I think we might have lost Paula's connection. Hello?
Yeah. Yep. She lost connection.
Okay, we'll give her a second to go back in.
There she go. Yeah, she just hung up. But yeah, but going on that, that's why I think it's important to look for a natural solution, because like we don't know what we're putting in our body, and we don't know exactly what it's doing to us while we're eating these foods. So when you go back to
Hey, I'm sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, you got cut out. I'm just trying to fill in the gaps right now. But
yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, when you look for more natural remedies for things, and I think this includes obesity, because I wasn't talking to a lady, but I was hearing a story the other day about a lady who had diabetes, and the guy that Paula was talking about was giving her a whole list of natural ingredients that she had to eat, and she didn't like it, right? But she started losing that weight, and she's starting to feel a whole lot better because she's putting real food into her body and not processed stuff.
And it's funny because you don't realize how bad you're feeling until you feel better. So
exactly.
I challenge you to, start with something simple, just by drinking more water. Increase your water intake. If you drink your weight in water for 1 week, and then the next week stop for a day, you'll feel the difference. You'll feel how different your body feels, and that'll let you know that it does actually help you. And it's the same thing with eating whole food. Cut out some people cut out one soda a day, or cut out all soda for a week, and then try having the soda the next week and see how much different your body feels, because you get so conditioned to having. Right, you get so conditioned that you don't realize that it's making you sick, and you feel bad, you feel sluggish, you feel tired, and you think the solution is to drinking other soda, when in actuality that's what's making you feel that way.
Exactly.
Right.
And when you stop drinking those sodas and you start back to drinking them, it's going to be like it's so sweet that it's bitter. And that's people, what do you call it when they call it I'm keeping myself in a job, I'm keeping my money. They're keeping their money coming through. And if you don't think for yourself and this natural stuff, I can't believe it's not butter. Yeah, you can. And you can believe it ain't butter. Stop using that stuff, and then start paying attention, because it's one thing that I had to realize, because I grew up with my mother, my grandmother, and they always used butter. But we always had, I've known my grandmother to make butter and to churn it. And when it comes out, you don't have to put any chemicals in it. You don't have to put any, you don't have to put any color in it. It comes out golden when you because you're churning that fat. And so what you want to do, what I do is I take my butter and turn it into ghee. I take it and reduce it, all the milk solids out of it, and put it into something else. You can put it on your counter and leave it out for months, and it won't go bad. And it's all natural, no chemicals, no nothing. And so my thing is with my being, because like I say, I'm just a hamburger away from being obese. You know what I'm saying? And I have to watch. I don't go and get bigger clothes. I get my clothes my size. When those clothes start to get a little tight and I start to look, my face and stuff starts to look fun, I start paying attention to what I'm doing. I start paying attention when I go to the grocery store, and instead of don't go to the grocery store hungry, go and have your stomach full. You go there and you start reading what you're picking up, making sure that whatever it is that you're trying to buy, that it has that's the first ingredient. Making sure that that 10 things behind it that you can't even pronounce it. That means that that's something that they're putting in there, and it's affecting your body. And I had to. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the I can't remember what show it was. It was something that I heard years and years ago, but it always stuck with me. But one thing, you got to make sure you're getting whole food. Whole food, like food that looks like the original product, as close to the original product as possible. And the best thing for me and what I practice in my household is to only shop the outside of the grocery store. The aisles, that's where all the poison is. If you go down the aisles, that's where all the boxes and the cans and the, made in other countries. Not that there's anything wrong with food made in other countries, but the whole food that's as close as it can possibly be to the original product is on the outskirts of the actual of the commissary or grocery store, wherever you're shopping. That's something that I practice, and it has, number one, saves us a lot of money, because processed food and packaged food is expensive. You think you're getting a discount.
Yeah, you think you are. Yeah.
They give you 1 million coupons for all that stuff in the middle aisles, but when it's all said and done, you get more for your money if you shop on the outskirts, and you're going to get better quality food for your body.
And because you're not gonna be hungry as often. You're getting your vitamins. You're not eating empty calories. And I'm gonna say this because you can get you can start when you start shopping. You need to check these cans. You can get tomatoes. Like I like tomatoes, so they're not in season this year. But I will go and they have these cans built in a certain way, but all you want to see there is all you want to see is tomatoes in your can, and then you want to find out what the can is made of, because this stuff that's another thing that's poisoning your body, and then then they find out that you got gallstones, and then I remember the one of the things that they were telling me, the doctor, I mean, he was really upset. You need to take this. I mean, you've never taken any MS medicine? I said, no, I haven't. And he was just like, this will stop you from having any more lesions. And I had like 20 lesions on my head when it first started. And I'm just like, but it hasn't increased since then. And I said, all I've done was I've changed my diet. I try not to eat, if I eat meat, and I'm not telling you I'm a vegetarian, I'm not a vegan. If I eat meat, if I eat it, I try to eat it like once or twice a week, because it takes your body a little bit longer to process, to break down that meat than it does for you to go and get vegetables and fruit and stuff like that. And now you can't even get fruit that's not. I went and bought some, what was it? What I tell you all it was? Some grapes. And I thought, okay, I didn't think about, because you have to look at the CPU, the whatever the little code that's on there. You have to read it. If one you want it to start with 4, and you don't want it to be 5 numbers. You want it to tell you that you want it to make sure that you are not getting that what do they call it then, James? That I forgot what the name of it is now.
The
GMO
stuff. Medically modified.
Yes. I went and got some grapes, and I had made a mistake and dropped them on the floor. And I went to Sweet one day. I picked some of them up like a couple of days after that, and maybe like a week. I went to Sweet, and the grapes were still there. Do you know those grapes had not changed at all? And I was like, oh, my God, I should have checked it. And I was wondering why they were so sweet, because they make it so, because when you eat watermelon, you don't have to constantly drink a lot of water. Certain fruits are going to give you your H2O that you need for your body. And you're going to have that the sugar is not bad for you. It's that processed sugar that processed stuff that's killing you. And we're saying this, not that I'm saying this as a former, well, I can't even say former, I was a former obese girl. I ain't obese anymore. But I have to constantly watch my weight. I have to constantly watch what I'm eating. I have to constantly make sure. Now, sometimes I'll get up. I haven't done it in the last, since I left when we went there for Christmas and I came back. I haven't had that. I think when I first got here, my legs were like weak, and the heat, heat affects me, and what is it? Stress. Stress is a killer for people with MS. And so, and when the gentleman who had told me what to do, and I went and got it, and I started seeing things differently. And I would wake up, and sometimes I would just get up and start walking. And I'm just like, okay, whoa. And I would get to the kitchen, and I'm just like, I didn't use anything to help myself walk. And I'm just like, okay. And one, it's a mental thing, first and foremost. And then second, it is, I don't feel that pain is not there constantly to remind me something's wrong. That my muscles and stuff are not stagnant or really I can't move when I want to move like that anymore. I'll get up and just start walking, and then it's my mind will tell me, hey, whoa, chill out. So we have to, I'm saying this because I am talking, but I'm talking to myself as well, because these are processes that you have to go through on a daily basis. This is something you have to do daily. You have to be mindful of, you have one body, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at those people, and yeah, they've lost weight, but the doctor has, and then they've cut your your intestine out, and then they've did this, that, and the other. There's certain things you can't even think about eating anymore, even if you had a craving, because you're going to get sick and you're going to start throwing up. If you can control yourself with them cutting on your body, sticking stuff down in and doing tests on you, and taking stuff out of your body that you need, because if you didn't need it, it wouldn't be there. Then why can't you control that? Why can't you? And I'm not saying it's going to be overnight. Just take a day and just start thinking about, like Tiffany say, you wake up and you say, hey, I haven't drank. You know what? I was addicted to Mountain Dew, and I didn't know I was addicted to Mountain Dew. I stopped drinking Mountain Dew once, and all of a sudden, and I didn't even think about it. I was just trying to, because there was so many calories. When you start counting your calories and you start knowing, I love Krispy Kreme donuts. I haven't had a Krispy Kreme donut in years, but one donut is 220 calories, you know, and I'm thinking, but when I would eat sugar, when I would go to exercise, my muscles didn't work the way it was supposed to work. It wasn't worth it to me. So certain things I started cutting out. So I started with the Mountain Dew immediately. And all of a sudden I started getting headaches. I'm talking about serious headaches. Like it went for like a week. And all of a sudden, one day I was just like, I was somewhere and I had to do something. I was just like, let me get myself a Mountain Dew. What made me do it? Because I was addicted. I went and got it. All of a sudden, my headache went away.
It's just like any other person that does drugs, because you go when you cut some of that stuff out, you're cutting those chemicals out, and then your body starts to go through withdrawals. The same way any addict will have withdrawals. It's the exact same thing. And then you feel like, oh, I need to have it. That's why you see addicts, and you can look at them like, yo, why are you still doing drugs? You know what I'm saying? You look terrible or whatever, but it's because they have that same feeling that you had. They have headaches, they start to feel sick, some of them throw up, you know, because those chemicals that left out their body, their body is trying to learn how to adjust without those chemicals, and that's exactly what your body is doing. So it sucks when you change your diet like that. It's gonna suck. And I'll be honest, it's gonna suck at first. It's gonna take a bit. It's just what it is. It's gonna be a while, and it's gonna suck because you have to go through that withdrawal period.
Exactly.
And that's it. And honestly, you can cut those things out cold turkey, but you can also take it a little slower and just be a little easier on the, you know, because it is hard to stop those habits once you form them. And it is a chemical addiction. And I have seen people have the debilitating headaches and stuff like that from stopping caffeine and stopping those things cold turkey. So if, let's say you're drinking 3 Mountain Dews a day, start out this week substituting one of those with water. You know, and spend the week doing it. You can step down off of it very gently, and then take maybe 2 or 3 weeks and not have all these withdrawal symptoms, or have them be more manageable.
Right, and I agree. But when you give yourself a cleanse, you know, and I'm not talking about what they tell you to go and buy. I'm talking about go and get you some water, some bottled water that doesn't have any chemicals and stuff in there. Go and get you a nice organic lemon. Squeeze it in there and drink that every morning. That's a cleanse. Get you some, what's that, cayenne pepper or something? They were saying that worked. I've never used it, but they say it works to help to cleanse your body. Start doing that, and after a while, you won't even, I have not eaten meat in 3 months. And I really have not, you know what I've been eating for the last 3 months? Are grits, and I have to make sure I go and find some organic grits. The grits are sort of like, they almost feel plastic if you don't go and get the organic grits. And so I'm not so sure how well that is. I don't know what they're doing to it, because I remember I grew up on eating grits, and they didn't feel like that after you leave them at night, and then you wake up the next morning and it's hard, and I don't care how you boil it, it doesn't. You have to throw it away. That to me, that's not good. You know. So I remember I was talking to James, and I was just like, I am looking for what do they call it? Egg laying hens. I said, I want to get them when they're like halfway grown. I said, but I want to start doing that. And he was just like, they sell chickens over here. And I was just like, hey, I can do that. You know, because that's what I eat mostly are eggs. Go and get me some oatmeal, go and get this, that, and the other, and just make sure that I have lots of flavor in there. Cheese, and I have to make sure that the cheese is processed in the right way, because cheese is a processed food. And it's not like I got a cow and I can go out there and turn it, you know. And so if we don't start doing this when things really start getting bad, because they're going to start getting worse than what they are now. And you're going to need this stuff. You're going to have to know how to do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
that's true.
I am.
Agree.
Yeah, I'm listening.
No, I was agreeing with you. I agree. That's one of the essential things you need to know is how to produce your own food.
Exactly.
Especially if things get rough, you know, you might not have a choice. But if you've been spoon fed your whole life, you know, how are you gonna know, you know, how to produce? I know they have some teachers, they have some classes here, in DC where they teach kids how to walk around the city and find plants that are actually edible that you can eat and live off on within the city.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, there's ways you can do it, but if you don't know, you just don't know. You think it's just another plant. Right.
And I think people, you know, there's kind of a stigma against people that are quote unquote doomsday preppers. But if nothing else, look back at the past 2 months where we had the government shutdown, and people who have a job making a living wage were faced with homelessness, not being able to feed their kids. Most people in America are one or two paychecks away from poverty or homelessness or not being able to eat. So you really have to take this type of stuff seriously and realize that though it's nice to have the convenience of a grocery store, you have to know how to take care of yourself if something should happen and you can't get in there.
Exactly.
You know, my friends used to call me Ranger Rick when I first came in the military, because it doesn't matter what scenario I'm in, I know how to find plants that are edible, and I'm not ashamed to take my headgear off because I'm in the military and go find a blackberry bush and fill it with blackberries, so I'm not hungry while I'm out in the woods.
Exactly.
Because I know how to find food that's edible. You know, I know how to find plants that are edible, and it's a valuable skill to know how to identify food, because you can get yourself in trouble as well eating things that look like something that's edible, but then you end up poisoning yourself. So having that base knowledge is very important. How to start a fire, how to find water. You know, those are things that people laugh at it and scoff at it, but if you learn nothing from these past couple of weeks, learn that it can happen. It can happen very quickly, and hunger hurts. You don't want to be hungry.
Right.
Know how to feed yourself if you need to.
But just think, if you're accustomed to eating, they're telling you, and it's not necessary. The doctor was telling me, oh, you just eat once a day. I said, yeah, I just eat once a day. That's not good. You're going to end up in the hospital. And I said, but I've been doing it for 2 years. And I said, I've been doing it for 3 years. I said, and you have taken my blood, and you know I'm not anemic. You know I'm not this, that, and the other. And he's just looking at me. And I'm like, you're a doctor. I was just like, how do you, and I'm just like, okay, I love him. He's a good doctor, but I do not, I don't put someone else's, what is the word? Someone else's, I don't put someone else over opinion of my body over my opinion, and I've been with it all my life. You know what I'm saying? Right. I can tell you, and then when you get to the point where I'm telling you that I'm feeling like X, Y, and Z, well, that's not, that's just normal. No, that may be normal to you. I'm telling you this is not normal for me. And they're stuck there because everybody's getting so sick. I go to my doctor because he's a good doctor. His office is there's not a place in there to sit, and he's there from 6 in the morning to like 5 or 6 in the evening. It's just you can't take care of that many people. And so, and just like Tiffany was saying, we grew up playing outside, but the kids aren't growing up playing outside anymore. They have this And what's going to happen if I was here one day and my electricity went off, and my dumb mind, I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to get on there because I have satellite internet. I was just like, oh, I'm just going to get on my computer and then pull up the internet. I'm just like, I can't do anything without electricity, you know.
Right.
But I had to start reading something, writing something. When you are not teaching your children, this is why God tells you to tell your children so that they can tell their children, so on and so forth. This is why He tells you to teach. It's a everyday thing, teaching your children things. And when all we have now is the iPhone. And they're like, it may take, what, $5 to put an iPhone together. But guess what? They're charging you $1,000 for it.
Right.
So
Right.
it's something that we really have to start thinking about. And I'm not saying that technology is not good for us, and to a certain point, but it shouldn't take over your ability to know right from wrong, for your ability to what is the word? Just your intuition. That's the word I'm looking for. It shouldn't take over your intuition. You know, and after a while, we're going to become just mindless drones.
And I agree. I agree with that fully. If you don't know, get the knowledge so you can teach the next person, you know, how to develop their own produce, their own food. It's very, very important, very, very important to do that, because that's my whole dream, you know, is to have a community, you know, where we have our own farm within that community, and you know, everybody can rely on each other in that manner. As far as, we don't need to do this, we don't need any outside influences. Everything we need is right here.
Right. And if you go back and listen to, if you're listening to our podcast, you can go back to the Healing Our Community Part 1, and we actually cover that in great detail about how easily you can start to become self-sufficient as far as producing your own whole healthy food. You don't have to start out producing all the food you need for the year. You can start out really small. You know, just start a tomato garden, or, you know, it's something that it doesn't have to be daunting.
Yes, and I agree.
Right, exactly.
You know, I was reading in there, and they were saying like it's the American, like the American Somalians, and they were saying that they are like 76% obese, and they said, but they started because when the people went over there and started teaching them, they knew how to eat, how to telling them, you don't need to eat raw food. You can fry this food. You can do this X, Y, Z. You can do it this way. And then from that point forward, they started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And just like what we're doing, we want to go to McDonald's. We want to go to Burger King. We want to go to and you don't know what you're eating anymore. You know, it's and you don't know who's fixing it. You don't know who's preparing it for you. You know, the bulk of your food should be made at your house. Now, you can go out and eat every now and then if you know where it's coming from, but the bulk of your stuff, it should be where you made it. And some of these kids don't even know what it even. I went with my nieces and nephews, my Reginald's kids. I remember they came over to once when I was in Maryland, and I was cooking something. And it was, to me, it was just simple stuff, and I thought they weren't going to eat it. And I had cut up some tomatoes, some cucumbers, and some onions. And I made it with some apple cider vinegar and some honey and something else. I took it and put it in the oven, and so it can all just marinate together. And the next day, when I cooked dinner, I put that on the side of the plate. And they were just like, first they didn't want to eat it, and then they were just like, that's like music on my tongue. That's like, I want some more, and I want some more. But they're not accustomed to it. And so we were in there, we were cooking, and they wanted to help me cook. I said, okay, you need 1/4 of a cup. And they were old enough to know this. But because we're so busy, because the world makes it so busy that we don't have time to go out and to teach our children. They didn't know what a fourth of a cup was. They didn't know what a teaspoon was. I was just like, okay, and I have to teach them what the fourth is, and I'm just like, okay, it's on the, okay, then I had to show it's on the cup. I said, after a while, I said, you'll be able to look at it and know that it's a fourth of a cup. I said, but for now, you have to do it like this. And that's what we have to, and this is what, and I feel like I'm an aunt. I don't have any children of my own. That's what my goal is there to do. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that we, as people, we have gotten away from, what is the word? Getting with each other. Forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. We have forsaken that. And now we got a whole generation. I was watching the television the other day, and the man was saying, well, you need to go and do this. Did you do so-and-so? And the child never got off of the phone. I'm just like, why you thought? I was like, you should have. Do you not see this child has been on the phone, on there texting or doing whatever since you started talking to her that morning? Here it is, it's nightfall, and he's still doing the same thing. And I bet if you ask them how to hold a conversation, they can't hold a conversation with you because guess what? You haven't taught them.
Well, that's true for diet as well as everything else. If you don't, if they're not exposed to it. But it's very true that, people have to work, and it's hard to survive these days. And it's hard for, there was a time where it was easy for one parent to stay home and the family to survive.
Exactly.
It's not like that for most families anymore. So it's very difficult.
Exactly.
You have to make that time to teach your children, how to make a meal, how to boil water. It's not something that they're going to. It's not innate, and if you don't ever take the time to show them, they won't know. And then you'll have a bunch of 20, 30-year-olds that you can't get out of your house, or that don't know how to do anything for themselves. They're living off of pizza and Grubhub. That's how they're getting their meals. If you don't ever take the time to teach them how to do it.
Yeah, they'll be on my 600-pound life, and I mean, I'm not making fun of them, but they are where they are. And it got to a point they couldn't help to where they are, and they didn't know any better. And then somebody had to go in, and then even when they went to the doctor, I need them to figure out so I won't have to eat so much. But and the doctor had to tell them, you're still going to have to cut back on what you're eating. I need you to lose 100 pounds. That's impossible. And I'm just like, you weigh 700 pounds. If you cut back and you start eating 1,200 calories a month, in a month you're gonna lose that. I mean, but they don't. We take things for granted, and I can say because I had that opportunity to be there with them. They can say they know how to do that, and I had that. Put that time to spend with them. And that was where you were talking about last year. What was it, in October or whatever, this last episode that we're talking about, and when we were saying having multi-general homes.
Multi-generational homes.
Yeah. And some of this stuff, it will help people sitting at the table instead of you going in there and sitting in front of the TV and mindlessly eating. Sitting at the table and having a conversation. What did you do today? What happened? What you did? So this should be parenting 101, but because life has gotten to the point where you don't even have a chance to even think anymore, and they make it that way on purpose. And I don't want to get into religion, but steal, kill, and destroy. And we have to always pay attention to that. And when you have that opportunity to do something to help someone, you do it. And even you can't say you're fat, you need to lose some weight. Well, guess what? They need some help at this point because you help them to get to that point where they are.
Right.
When they're going. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we ought to take the time now to start giving people some tools to help make this realize this for themselves. So we already talked about kind of simple things like maybe substituting. If you drink, like I said, if you're drinking 3 Mountain Dews a day, try substituting 1 a day for a week, and then next week substitute 2 a day with water for a week, and just continue doing that. Another thing, and this is something that we started practicing in our household here, is we started cooking dinner as a family, and I mean all 3 of us, my husband, myself, and our baby. We bring her in the kitchen. She's too little to help us. We bring her in the kitchen with us. We play music. She's sitting right, and she's watching us, and we cook together, and then we all sit down as a family and we eat together. Because for one, it's quality time. You spend time with your family, and it's showing her the skill of preparing a meal. Like, it's a skill, and you have to teach it.
That's right.
Yes, and I agree, and that's what I'm saying. That's having that family together. If you have to get a bigger house and everybody being there, have that together. You know, y'all start doing that. And that's a long way down the road, and I know that's further than substituting water for Mountain Dew, and I think that's probably going to be harder than anything because I was addicted. I didn't know. I mean, it was months before I got that out of my system. And so this stuff that we're taking it's going to feel like that you're killing, that you're dying, and I can't take it. And you'll take one smoke. You'll take one drink of Mountain Dew. You'll take one, and then you'll feel so much better. And then you'll think, okay, that's your body is getting back acclimated to that because that's what it has destroyed in your body. And so you just have to do that. And I agree. Go ahead, James. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
No, and I agree with what Tiffany was saying. Just take it a step at a time. Take it, just get up in the morning and get a bran muffin, or get a bran muffin and put some blueberries in it. That is very good for you. And eat that in the morning and drink some water, you know. And then instead of trying to eat all this craziness, and then in the afternoon you eat your heaviest meal, and in the evening you eat something else light. And just start. Start finding, getting a book that you can start checking your calories. And I encourage that because to me diets don't work for me. I have to know what I'm putting on my plate. I have to know what I'm getting in it. I have to know. I have to be in the know. And so I bought a book a long time ago. It even gave you fast food calories that's in there. It gives you right on down to the blueberry with the sugar level in it, and what all of it has in it. So, and even what you drink, you write that down, and there's a thing that shows you if I'm 200 pounds, how many calories, and if I'm 200 pounds, and how many calories that it would take to maintain that 200 pounds. And if you want to eat, if you want to cut out, and it's time for us, because it's 34, I've been on 34 minutes, it's time for us to get off the line, but go and get those calorie counting books that shows you how much sugar is in things, and when you go out and eat, what's the best places to go, and things like that. And we're going to continue to talk about this because summertime is coming, but I could care less about getting a bikini. I'm worried about I've heard a lot of people say this, and I'm going to say it and I'm going to leave it. I said, well, you're going to eat that, and so that stuff is going to kill you, and we're all going to die from something. So I might as well eat what I want, but you don't have to die miserably. You know, you don't have to die. You can't open your mouth, or you can't move your legs, or you can't. And there are people that can't move their legs, but they're at peace. You don't have to do that. And so I say this, and just to get yourself and I'm going to turn it over to James and Tiffany, that you start writing things down. Write the vision and make it plain, and I guarantee you it will work. And I'm going to turn it over to you guys for last words.
Yeah, I mean, all I have to say is just pay attention to what you're eating and
Mhm.
what's in the food. There are other options again than what's in a normal grocery store. Try to find
Mhm.
you a place, a whole food store, a place that's more holistic when it comes to eating natural food. All right,
Yes.
so that's something that you can pay attention to. That's all I really wanted to
Mhm.
say.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, I just wanted to just say that I thought this was a good, insightful conversation. And there's a lot of things that you can do starting small. I want to give you guys one app that I personally use. I'm not getting any kickbacks from this. This is just something that helped me, and I think maybe
Mhm.
it'll help somebody else. It's called
Right.
MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal. And it's an
Okay.
application that you can download on your phone, iOS, or whatever the other ones, the lesser ones are. You can download that app on your phone. You can
Mhm.
calculate all your physical activity into, convert
Yes.
that into calories or calorie deductions. You can track your
Mhm.
water intake. You can look up your food, and it does include restaurants as well. So if you're eating something off of a common menu item, you can look it up by the restaurant, and that'll help you to
Mm-hmm.
track what it is you're putting in your body.
Yes.
To me, keeping a food journal, I will never do that because that's just
Yes.
not me. I'm not going to walk around with a notebook and write stuff down. But it was easy for me to have my phone out and just type in, okay, I ate, I don't know, a Chick-fil-A sandwich. I can,
Mhm.
choose that item,
Mm-hmm.
and it would automatically put it into my meal counter for the day. Show
Mhm.
all my macros, my calories, and all that stuff. I never count
Mm-hmm.
calories. I count macros. It's a little
Yeah.
bit different, but same thing. It's just something that you can use, and like I said, it will also calculate your physical activity, especially if you have like an Apple Watch
Yes.
or a Samsung Watch. It'll
Mhm.
subtract your physical activity from your caloric intake, so it'll let you
Yes.
know like what exercise is doing to help you burn off the extra calories. So
Yes.
it's a simple tool. It's called MyFitnessPal. Like I said, you can get it in iOS
Mhm.
store or I don't know where Samsung people get their apps from, but that place.
There you go.
Google Play, or I don't know.
you,
You can find it
you
there.
know, I don't know. I agree with what you're saying, and I remember when you said that, it reminded me. A lot of people. I have Excel. I made an Excel sheet of how many calories where I was right then, what my weight was, and how many calories would
Mm-hmm.
it take for me to maintain that weight. And every
Right.
500 calories you take off of that, you're going to take off 2 pounds a week. And then you can calculate, and at the end of the week, you write down, and you don't have to physically write it down. I have a phone that all I have to do is press a button and record. Okay, it is 12
Mm-hmm.
so and so today, and I am at McDonald's and I'm eating blah 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 blah, or I'm at the store and they have chicken and blah 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 blah. You can have that when you get back home. I'm trying to keep you from spending so much money. You write, you
Mm-hmm.
type all that stuff in your Excel sheet, and then calculate it, and how many pounds you should have lost that month, and just
Right.
weigh yourself once a month. Don't do it. I was in the thing of weighing myself every day. Do it once a week or once a month, and just once
Right.
every 2 weeks. Don't do it all the time. Go ahead,
No, no, I do want to say you can find MyFitnessPal in the Google Play Store as well. I just
That
looked it up.
Tim. Tip,
Yeah, I was just agreeing with James because I didn't
James.
know what it was called.
I think we missed him. When, maybe he'll give me the stuff and I'll put it on the site as a
No, he
James.
said it. He said it.
No, I said it. Yeah, it's Google Play Store. You can find
Oh, see, I didn't
MyFitnessPal
hear it.
on
I
Google
didn't hear
Play
it at
Store.
all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
okay. So yeah. So we're going to we've been on here, and it lasts longer than we think it's gonna last. But I enjoyed talking with you guys. I hope you enjoyed getting the information from us. This is not going to be. We're going to have a part 2 because there's other things that we want to put into this and talk about. And I hope you all have a blessed week, and that everything goes well with you. And I'm going to let them say the salutations, but I love you all, and I hope everything is well. James Tip?
Oh, yes, I just want to take the time to thank you all again for joining us. I hope you were able to find a little bit of something useful in this conversation so that you can start making positive changes in your life or to continue making changes in your life. As I always say, you can reach out to us. If you hear us on Podbean, you can always make comments there. We also have a Facebook page, Ties That Bind on Facebook, and a website, tiesthatbind.com. So please hit us up there. You can email us directly. You can put comments on any of those sites. Tell us your own story. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
And, I feel that in this life we're taught many things, but I challenge you to find what matters the most, and that's masters. And that's basically knowing yourself. And watching what you eat and what you put in your body is part of that process. So know your past so you can operate in your present to secure your future you always dreamed of. Thank you.
Yes. And be blessed, and you all have a wonderful evening, morning, night, whenever you're listening to this. And good night.